Back in 2019, our mayor at the time, Mike Savage, declared a climate emergency on behalf of Halifax citizens. And we were actually the second city in all of Canada to do so. So that spurned basically a staff report around the development of a climate action plan for Halifax. One of the main goals of our HaliFACT climate plan is looking at our city's infrastructure. So the infrastructure that we own and operate. So from our roads, our public transportation vehicles, our fleet vehicles, our buildings, making sure that our city's infrastructure is decarbonized. So that's looking at reducing our emissions by insulating our buildings, switching our vehicles to be electric. We're also looking at how we can have our infrastructure be adaptive to the impacts of climate change that are already here. So in Halifax, we're seeing increased storms, we're seeing increased fires, some flooding of our major rivers that feed into the harbor. So it's really looking at how our city's infrastructure is resilient and is adapting to the impacts of climate change. Another goal of our climate plan is around engaging our community partners. So we're working quite a bit with our private sector. We have a CEO climate action charter, for example, that looks at how our large employers in Halifax can be implementing, environmental options for their employees and how they can reduce their emissions. We're also working with some not-for-profit groups on providing funding for youth around climate actions and partnering with them as well for community engagement activities. We have quite a bit of work that we're doing for invasive species management in our urban parks. We also have some naturalization programs in partnership with our Parks Department that are looking at increasing vegetation around our lake shores to improve water quality and also to help wildlife. So really looking at also protecting our natural environments as well. When we're trying to change both how we design our infrastructure and also the materials that we're using, right, to improve climate resiliency and adaptation and also climate mitigation, then you're looking at a whole new way of procuring goods, of having our engineers designing our infrastructure, even our legal team that needs to be engaged if we're having new kinds of vehicles, for instance, that we're rolling out and new ways of charging those vehicles. So it's just a huge learning curve for everybody involved. For example, just a few months ago, we launched 60 electric buses that are now being deployed in Halifax. Maybe you'll notice them when you're taking the bus around, that it says powered by electricity. And that was a monumental achievement that had to overcome a lot of those challenges around supply chains, around procurement, around legalities. As a resident of Halifax myself, it's really exciting to be able to see the work that you do during your day job reflected in, the streets that you ride your bike on, in the buildings and the community centers that you visit. It's really exciting just to be able to have such a positive impact on our community, on our city, knowing that we're reducing our emissions, we're doing our part to help in the fight against climate change, and also that we're making a more resilient city. And it's exciting to be part of that.